kidney donor. Um, she's a living kidney donor. Come on, Jim, wake up. She's a director with Waitlist Zero. She's a mentor for the National Kidney Donation Organization. She's an advocate with the NKF and an author of the book Be the Parent You Wish You Had. As the director of Waitlist Zero, she's leading campaigns to reimburse all living donors for their costs and lost wages. She founded the New York City One Kidney Club, Kidneys for Strangers, and Vegan Kidney Donors. She is an NKDO mentor, is on the NKF's advocacy committee, and a mentor for Plant Powered Metro New York. At her very heart, Elaine is a natural teacher, having taught for 33 years in schools ranging from the American International School of Budapest to New York City Public Schools. In addition to being a professor for graduate students at Teachers College, Columbia University for 6 years from 2016 to 2022, she was a teacher of pre-K and nearly every subject for grades between 2 and 11. As a director of the Columbia University Peace Corps Fellows program, she taught, supported, and supervised and mentored 70 Jaffe Peace Corps Fellows in their first 2 years of teaching in New York City public schools. She's even painted 11 school murals in the city of New York. She also founded a college-wide monthly salon and an interdepartmental exchange of ideas to foster dialogue and collaboration. As a school administrator, she was both a dean and a director of admissions at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School and a parent advisor for the Parents League. She's taught middle school enrichment classes at the Harlem Educational Activities Fund. She was a public school nutrition specialist for grades 2 to 5 in the South Bronx, Crown Heights, and Harlem for the Coalition for Healthy School Food. She completed the TC course, Food and Nutrition for All, in addition to attending a plant-based nutrition certificate or obtaining a plant-based nutrition certificate from Cornell University. She earned her Bachelor of Arts in English and Economics from Wesleyan University and is a Master of Arts in Curriculum and Teaching from Teachers College, Columbia University. In addition, she has a degree in school administration from Shippensburg State University and is certified to teach nursery, kindergarten, grades 1 through 6, and English 7 through 12. Her curricula, entitled Exploring the Harlem Renaissance and the Italian Renaissance Periods through Radio Plays, was published by Columbia University. She presented her ideas about education at the conferences Teaching in Trying Times, Reimagining Education, the Winter Roundtable, as well as the Peace Corps Corvidel Directors Conference in Washington, D.C. Tonight, Elaine and I are going to talk about her experiences as a living kidney donor, the director of Waitlist Zero, and her kidney advocacy experiences. Please give a warm welcome to our friend Elaine Perlman. Elaine, how are you tonight?
I'm so excited to be here, Jim. Thank you for the invitation. And that introduction was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Great, great. Kind of stumbled a little bit there, but we'll get things straightened out with the questions. Don't worry. Did I state everything correctly?
You did.
In the introduction.
You did. Thank you so much.
Please tell us a little bit about where you grew up, your education, and your employment experiences.
Absolutely. And thanks again for inviting me. I grew up in a small town in the central part of Pennsylvania, sort of close to Harrisburg and Gettysburg, a town called Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I moved there when I was 5. I left when I was 18. I went to public schools. I loved it. It was a really lovely place to grow up. I'm still in touch with people from my hometown. I go back for every reunion. And I went to college and considered going into law and journalism. And I even considered becoming a college professor. And at the end, I decided I just love children so much. I became a teacher. I've taught in public schools and private schools, international schools. I love being in a classroom. It's my favorite thing in the world. I love being among new minds, young minds. I think there's nothing better than that. So yeah, and that's pretty much, those are my roots. That's my beginning.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to a few of our friends that are on. Lisa Thompson is with us. Donna Tizot is with us. Chris Ann Hernandez. Hi, Chris. She's with us. Our guest last week, Roberta Reed, we call her Bobby. Bobby Reed is with us. So we've got a few friends on the line tonight, Elaine. So
lovely.
I understand that you are one of the directors for the group Waitlist Zero. Can you please describe for us what your duties and responsibilities are in that position?
Absolutely. Yes. So just to clarify, Thomas Kelly and Josh Morrison founded Waitlist Zero. And Josh is the executive director. I am the director. And I like to joke around that it's Waitlist Zero because we truly want the waitlist, the kidney donor waitlist, to be zero rather than the current 92,000 people. That's tragically such a high number that it's even hard to fathom. But I joke around that I'm the director of Waitlist Zero for a team of zero. It's really both Josh and Thomas have full-time jobs, and they support me in many ways throughout the week. But mostly it's just me working hard to hopefully knock down barriers to kidney donation for living donors, so that we can truly supply more living kidneys than we are currently. What do I do? I lead campaigns to reimburse all living donors for their costs and lost wages. I'm also looking very much to encourage people to consider living donation. And we really want the entire team. We join with many other kidney advocacy groups in envisioning a country where no one dies because of a shortage of available kidney transplants. We want a world where it's easy for patients to ask for a kidney and it's easy for donors to give a kidney. We believe that donors are public servants and they should be honored in that way, and that they should not be worse off after having saved the life of another person. We already know that kidney donation is painful and it takes a lot of time. We want to make sure there are no financial barriers to donation, and that's sort of our first step.
Okay. Shout out to our friends Shane Blanchard and Orlando Torres. Okay. That's great. I like that. Let's talk a little bit about your experiences with living kidney donation. First, I understand that you have a son, Aby Rorick, who at the age of 19 made a kidney donation to a complete stranger in July of 2019 at NYU Langone Hospital in Midtown, New York. Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Absolutely. So I got to mention that most of my life, I thought a kidney was just like a little vacuum cleaner inside of our body. I barely knew what it did. I knew we had two of them, but it wasn't something that occupied my mind at all until the day when Aby was 17 years old and said to me, I am going to donate my kidney to a stranger. He wasn't asking for permission. He had already called all the New York City hospitals. He had found out that at that time, and this is back in 2017, only one hospital would consider having an 18-year-old, giving them the opportunity to donate their kidneys to strangers. Interestingly, at all the hospitals, if you were 18, you could do a direct donation to a family member. But in terms of giving a kidney to a stranger, all the other hospitals except for NYU said you have to be 21 in order to do that. So Aby shopped around and found the right hospital. Since that time, those other hospitals will now let you donate a kidney at age 18. So anyway, Aby says this to me. And of course, at first I was super alarmed. I thought, this sounds like something that could cause death. It seems to make no sense. I thought you had to be a family member to donate a kidney. And AB at that time was on the debate team, so he always came prepared with lots of arguments and evidence. And within about 10 minutes, he persuaded me, after showing me Dylan Matthews from Vox, his video, and sharing some stats with me. He said, "This is as safe as you giving birth to me. It's not a dangerous thing to do. As long as you didn't think it was dangerous to give birth to me, yeah, you should approve wholeheartedly my decision." And so I said, after some time, I said, if all goes well, I'll do it too. And so AB went to NYU Langone for his day of testing. And between freshman and sophomore year of college, he was going to college out in the desert on the border of California and Nevada. He came back between first and second year of college, donated his kidney. I was with him in the hospital, saw the whole thing, and realized, I got to do this too. This is an amazing thing. AB had the chance to meet his recipient on the set of Good Morning America. It was a very beautiful moment for these two young men to meet. I don't know, have you had a chance to see the video, Jim?
Yeah. Just so the folks know, if you go to the broadcast that is pinned to the top of my Facebook page, all kinds of things about Elaine and AB are in the comments to that broadcast, and that includes the video of the Good Morning America show. So you can actually watch AB meet his recipient for the very first time and see how big Michael Strahan is compared to everybody else. So
yeah,
it's a great video, and AB donated to a college student. His recipient, his name is Chris. So all in all, it turned out to be pretty cool. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, please check it out. You can go straight to my Facebook page, Jim Myers, nothing tricky, and it's pinned right to the top of the page. Go to the comments, and Elaine's videos are there, links to Elaine's books, links to YouTube videos that she's done, and the video we're talking about with Good Morning America, and AB is also there. So
yeah,
lots of interesting stuff if you want to drill down on Elaine. So
yeah, it's all there.
All right,
Thank you, so that video has had 1.7 million views, and we know for sure that one person donated their kidney as a result of seeing that video. And my son said, it was 15 minutes of awkwardness on national TV, totally worth it, knowing that at least one life was saved. So I do believe that a lot of people would consider donating to strangers, but they may be like I was before AB told me that it was a possibility, and not know that we can do this thing. So I like it when the word gets out. I think we need to raise awareness from every direction.
Donna's telling me that she saw the video on Good Morning America. So welcome to the 1.7 million group, Donna.
It's a remarkable, yeah.
You mentioned to me during the week that after AB's experience with donating a living kidney to a stranger, that he's written several things, including for the British Medical Journal. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So AB has written extensively about all different kinds of subjects, but mostly about human challenge trials. The founder of Waitlist Zero also founded One Day Sooner in response to the COVID crisis. And AB was his director of communications. And so as AB wrote many articles in places like the Telegraph and the Journal of Immunology and the Daily News and all kinds of different places AB's work has shown up, he has also written about kidney donation. I would say the two places where you can see it really as the central focus of his work was an article for New York Focus, which was very supportive of the Living Donor Support Act. It was written prior to the passage of that act, but he really helped in his research to really set the stage and present the evidence. And the BBC did a beautiful radio broadcast. It was sort of like a podcast, but a bit more extensive, called the Anatomy of Kindness. And AB is featured in that. So that's a beautiful episode through the BBC. So AB is a good researcher and an excellent writer, and has had the chance to publish a lot of work on different topics, including kidney donation.
Okay, and of course, if you're looking around for things that AB wrote, that's his nickname. His legal name is Abraham.
Yeah.
So you might be looking for Abraham if you're trying to locate some things.
Yeah.
Please explain to us how the fact that AB gave this gift to Chris motivated you to become a non-directed kidney donor yourself.
Well, thank you for that question. I think, first of all, I like to joke around that I like to follow in my son's footsteps. You know, it's sort of turning the tradition on its head where children walk in their parents' footsteps. I just think he carved a pathway that was unique to me. I'd never met anyone who donated to a stranger. I was with him the entire time. I saw how incredible the NYU Langone transplant team was, so supportive, explained everything. I also saw that it wasn't very painful. And I am absolutely disgusted by anything medical, any kind of medical details. I feel faint when I hear them. But for some reason, I have no fear of pain or surgery. I've had several surgeries, and I for some reason have no fear when I think about them, or So I think that helped a lot in me making the decision. But it was so obvious to me that for a little bit of an inconvenience and a little bit of aches and pains, a life can be saved. And when I understood the power of donation, I just said, I just couldn't wait for it to happen. And I remember when I was in the operating room, they had told me that they would ask me one last time, hey, do you want to do this thing? And give me the opportunity. If I didn't want to do it, in the operating room, on the operating table, they gave me the opportunity to say, you know what, this is not really the right thing for me. Instead, as my surgeon was generously playing one of my favorite songs, Stevie Wonder's Signed, Sealed, Delivered, he asked me what song I wanted to be playing. The song was playing. They said to me, you sure you want to do this thing? And I said, absolutely. I can't wait. Let's get this thing done. I have tremendous enthusiasm for living donation. It is such an incredible thing to still be alive and give this gift. So many people do it after they're gone. And I think that's a great idea. Everyone should be signed up to be an organ donor. But to be alive and to know that my body part, a part I didn't even need, was so desperately needed by someone else that they wouldn't live much longer without it. I was able to provide that gift. Every time I think about it, I just feel this shower of happiness. So I saw it in AB, and I feel it in myself. And 95% of donors would do it again if they could, because it's just a fact. It's a marvelous feeling to save a life.
Okay. Talk to us about how you were originally connected to the National Kidney Donation Organization and the National Kidney Registry.
So I was asked at some point, AB connected with the National Kidney Donation Organization. And so I met some of the people. I talked to Ned Brooks on the phone, and I was asked to become a mentor. I was among the first mentors that really help prospective donors by sharing our own experiences and answering their questions. And if they would like it, to hold their hand throughout the process, to celebrate with them after the donation. I've loved being a mentor, and that's something that I also that I love doing. And I also help to prepare new mentors by training them and getting them ready for their first calls. So I just love that opportunity. And I'm a big advocate of the National Kidney Registry that works in partnership with the National Kidney Donation Organization. They're the group that sets up all of the chains and the paired exchanges. They also provide reimbursement through Donor Shield. They're extremely well organized and well run, and they're saving lives every day. Because in my case, for example, I could have had a donation that went to one person, but instead my donation launched a kidney chain, and that's exactly what they do. My kidney flew to Georgia. The National Kidney Registry has lost no organs in transit, which I'm happy to say is a good thing, because it's not always the case. Sometimes organs get lost, but the NKR never has lost one. So my kidney flew to Georgia. In order to receive that kidney, that recipient had to have someone lined up to donate to another stranger. So another kidney went to Oklahoma. And then 2 more went to Washington State. So 4 people got life-saving kidneys. Without the National Kidney Registry, I think that it would have just been a one-off donation and not something so extensive. So I'm a big fan of both organizations.
Okay. I understand that within 6 months of your son's donation, you donated a kidney yourself at the same hospital on January 22nd of 2020 through the NKR. Tell us what your actual donation experience was like, and being part of a chain for 4 people receiving kidneys in Georgia, Oklahoma, and Washington State.
Yeah, it's funny because AB really wanted to launch a chain. And when he went into the hospital and they told him about Chris, a young man just 2 years older than AB, and they told him about his family story, AB said, let Chris have my kidney, because nobody from Chris's family could donate to another person. So it wouldn't have been a chain. So I said, well, I'll be your chain. It's all covered. You can consider me your chain, AB. And so, I had this surgery that luckily I was asleep for it, so I don't remember a thing. I woke up feeling some tightness, and I actually made a video of my entire hospital experience. I would say it felt tight, like as if I'd done a lot of sit-ups. I got the great advice from my surgeon that I should take my next pain pill 5 minutes before it wore off, so that way I never got into a pain state. I didn't experience pain the whole time. I would say it was more of an achiness. If anything, I was walking around the hospital on the day of surgery. I was doing work on the day of surgery from my hospital bed. I felt great. Friends came to visit that night. We toasted. I don't drink alcohol, but we toasted with some non-alcoholic beverages. I just felt like in a great mood that day. That afternoon, they told me my kidney was working great somewhere in Georgia. I cried. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. I just, healed very quickly. I was back home after 3 nights. My friend Steve was in the hospital for only 1 night, AB for 2 nights. So I'd say those are, between 1 and 3 nights in the hospital. I live in an apartment where you have to climb up 6 flights of stairs to get to the apartment. I did it after 3 days with no issue whatsoever. I was just so happy that I could be a part of this. I'm so grateful for the medical team and the people who invented this laparoscopic technique so that the healing is quick. I would just say it was a magnificent experience, one of the top of my life.
Wow. Little shout out to a couple of friends. My friend Elaine, we're looking to do a broadcast with her and her son very soon. My friend Jonathan Traylor. Jonathan's a terrific advocate in his own right and does broadcasts like I do. You get a chance to check out what's going on with John. Wow. After your donation, I understand that you were inspired to lead meetings with the Global One Kidney Clubs. You founded the New York City One Kidney Club and the Vegan Kidney Donors Groups and Kidneys for Strangers. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I do have a lot of groups. So I didn't initiate the Global One Kidney Club. The first meeting was hosted by Patty Graham, a wonderful friend and a living donor who's a full-time mentor with the National Kidney Donation Organization and also an incredible nurse. She led the first meeting, and then after that, I started leading meetings. I think I've been a teacher for 33 years. I just am very comfortable in leading these kind of Zoom meetings. So I have been leading them ever since then. We have meetings every 3 months. They are publicized on our Facebook page. Patty also started with Tracy Hulick the One Kidney Clubs around the country. So I started the New York City One Kidney Club. And the Vegan One Kidney Club is perhaps the smallest group in the entire world. It's very niche, but I'm hoping I gave there will be more vegans who are kidney donors. I think it's a great opportunity for vegans who often care about the world and want to heal the world to become kidney donors. So I encourage people to both become kidney donors and become vegan. I did a plant-based workshop for the National Kidney Foundation about the benefits of plant-based eating to protect our kidneys. And Kidneys for Strangers, I just did for, to publicize the benefits of living donation. I also run every 3 months an Ask Me Anything conversation for people from the National Kidney Donation Organization community who just want to learn more about living donation. And I do that with support from many of the mentors from the team at National Kidney Donation Organization. So it's all kidneys all the time, excellent. Jim. All kidneys all the time.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about Elaine. Elaine, you have a website, Elaine Perlman that raises some very interesting points about living kidney donation. The website again, ElainePerlman.com. It's tricky because Perlman is spelled Perlman. There's no A in it, as I found out this week. Bad Uncle Jim. So ElainePerlman.com. Check it out. Talk to us. Why should someone consider donating a kidney, especially to a stranger?
Well, here's the thing. It's pretty much a guarantee you're going to live longer than the general population. Now, why am I saying that? In order to be approved for donation, you get a full inspection, a full internal inspection, CAT scan, stress test, x-ray, renal exam, you name it. And if you are deemed to be healthy enough to do the donation, it means that you're very unlikely to develop any chronic disease. So it is a great way to find out what kind of health you're in, and a good assurance that you are going to live long and enjoy that longevity. So it's not going to impact your time here on Earth. If anything, if you get approved, it probably means you're going to be one of those people who's going to live a nice long time. In addition to getting the certification that you're in good health, it's something that has this amazing emotional reward. And when I get together with other people who've donated their kidneys, we talk about it, just what happiness it has brought us. I've talked to kidney donors who, when they met their recipients, they thanked their recipients. And the recipients like, wait, no, I'm supposed to be thanking you. But in truth, we are so thankful that we've had this opportunity. You know, unless you are a firefighter or a doctor or someone who literally and directly saves lives, very few regular citizens get to have this opportunity. Knowing that I've done that just gives me this, you know, as I'm now repeating myself, a magnificent feeling that I've truly made the world better by saving a life with using my body. So I just, you know, if I could, I'd do it again, and I would do it again and again and again. Unfortunately, I've run out of kidneys, and so that's why I'm doing advocacy work. But I know that I'm not alone. I've talked to so many people. I was actually training a woman last night on the phone who's a new mentor with the NKDO, and she said to me, "I just wish I could do it again." So for that, you know, it's just a marvelous feeling all around, and I highly recommend it. Please consider it, and I'm happy to mentor you, to talk you through it if you are interested in living kidney donation. It's awesome.
Talk to us. You mentioned all the things you were doing almost immediately after your donation. Talk to us about how painful is kidney donation.
Well, I think it's really good to have that pain management under control, right? So I took this really super painkiller called Tramadol. It just hit the spot, gave me, I really didn't feel pain, as I said earlier. My son had a bit of a different experience. His surgeon didn't tell him to take that next pain pill 5 minutes prior. And instead, like many of us, we're all afraid to become addicted to painkillers. We hear about it, all the time. But in fact, if you're taking painkillers for pain, you're not going to become addicted. But my son didn't get that message, and he tried to stretch out the time in between his painkillers to last as long as he could. And he had a longer recovery as a result. My doctor said that you will need more painkillers for longer if you don't keep up with your pain management. So I didn't feel pain. I felt more of that achiness, as I said earlier. I've had appendicitis. It hurt much more than my kidney donation. I've had varicose vein surgeries, much more painful. Cesarean section, way more painful. So it was one of my least painful surgeries, and I think it's because I had such good medical advice.
Okay. Talk to us about the steps to kidney donation. I know you guys go through the same tests that we go through as recipients. So can you describe for us what those steps are?
Absolutely. Well, for most people, it starts out with a blood test and a 24-hour urine collection. And through those two tests, the doctors can see, what kind of health you're in. So getting a good picture before doing invasive tests. And also, there's a questionnaire to find out about medical history. If people have any kind of health issue that could be an obstacle, then they are counseled to not continue with the screening process. After you get past those two tests, Then there's that day of testing. Now, some hospitals may do that over the course of 2 or 3 days, but in New York at NYU, it's all in one day. We're busy people in New York. We want to get things done, perhaps. That's why they do it that way. I had talked to a social worker to make sure that I understood what I was going to go through, make sure I wasn't being pressured or paid or any kind of thing like that. I talked to the surgeon about the surgery itself. As I said, I'm grossed out by things that are medical, so I asked him to cut that one pretty short, but lots of people want the details. It's a laparoscopic surgery, so you barely have any scarring, barely have any incisions. There's even a doctor at Cornell University who goes through the belly button, and so you have no incisions whatsoever. I shouldn't say incisions, no scars. The CAT scan is there because 1 in 1,000 of us are born with only one kidney, and 1 in 1,000 of us are born with only one functioning kidney. So they want to make sure we have 2 functioning kidneys. By the way, those people who have only 1 functioning kidney usually don't even find out because, as I said, we only need 1 kidney to have a full life. I have friends who have finished marathons and Ironman competitions. We only need 1 kidney to even be a high-level athlete. I had an X-ray. I had EKG, stress test, all that kind of stuff. I passed that, and my final test was a renal exam. I had to drink kind of a disgusting milkshake, and they saw how the fluid went through my kidneys. They wanted to see which one was functioning at a higher level. It turns out that one functioned at 2% higher level than the other. They left me with the better one. I mean, they're pretty much the same, but they left me with the better one. That's how they decided which one I should give away. Most people give away their left kidney, but in my case, my left kidney was the better one, so they took my right kidney.
Okay. Donna's asking because she's noticed the same thing that many of us have noticed. Sometimes people, after they go through all these tests to donate, there's a long period of time before they hear the results. Can you speak to that? Did you go through a long period of time yourself, or was it different?
So in my case, I would say it was about a month. And the reason why I was told is because the transplant team doesn't meet every day, right? It's a lot of people on that transplant team. It's a scheduled meeting. They need to review every detail. And I think these details are coming from multiple offices within the hospital. So it does take time, and they really need to scrutinize the data to make sure that none of us are at risk of developing any kind of disease, wanting to make sure that they're not going to do any harm. You know, that's what the medical pledge is, do no harm. So they need to do a very thorough job. They're quite conservative, which I'm grateful for. I don't think they should be taking risks with anyone. There are times where the hospitals may be taking a bit of time. That is perhaps people get impatient because it is very extensive and it can feel like a delay. And but I would, in that case, just check in with the transplant coordinator and they'll give you a sense of when you'll be told. When I was told, they called me and it was one of my happiest moments. I was so nervous that I wouldn't pass. And I just wanted this to work out so badly that I, was eager to hear the news. So that month went slowly. But when I got the good news, I then was able to schedule the surgery when it was convenient for me. Since I was giving to a stranger, there was not the kind of urgency that there is with a direct donation. So I scheduled it in January so that it wouldn't be a busy work time for me.
Okay. Is kidney donation safe? Did you consider yourself to be safe?
Yes, it is a very safe procedure. I say that the stat is 3 out of 10,000 die as a result of kidney donation. That's the same stat as my son had told me, women who give birth in the United States. So that is considered very much on the safe side of a surgery. And I had no worries whatsoever. I just didn't have any fear. Like I said, I experienced it with my son as a spectator. But, when I was going through it, I just had pure enthusiasm and no fear. I also am not a person who's afraid of very much. So I don't live in fear. I'm not a person who's consumed by worry. And so, I just saw the positives that my donation would launch within the for all those people on the wait list, I would not only be able to provide a kidney for someone new, but you're also putting everyone on the wait list up a notch as you donate. So you're helping to promote life, not just for the people who get your kidney, but for the broader country, with all those desperate people who really need a kidney transplant. Good feeling. It's a good feeling, Jim.
Right. Talk to us about participating in a kidney chain donation. Why participate in a kidney chain donation?
Well, everybody likes a 2-for-1 special, right? It's almost like a sale. This was a 4-for-1 special. I donated my kidney, and as I said, kidneys flew around the country as a result. All these people who were not in line to get kidneys suddenly had the opportunity. They got the call. They were all ready. Also, with a kidney chain, you can make a much better match for someone. So the better the kidney match, the fewer immunosuppressants need to be taken after donation. So let's imagine that I still had 2 kidneys and my husband needed a kidney. I may be able to provide a decent match for him. But if I gave to a stranger and participated in a chain, then he could get an ideal match from around the country, somebody who is much closer matched than I would be. I do want to mention that because I gave my kidney to a stranger, some people may say, what about people within your own family? What if they need kidneys? The beautiful part of going through the National Kidney Registry is that I was able to get a voucher. It's like kidney insurance or like a coupon. I now have one that is for a family member. I also have one, so just in case. I think it's very unlikely anyone in my family will need a kidney transplant, but it's peace of mind for us. In addition, if anything ever goes wrong with my remaining kidney, not through a chronic disease because I'm taking good care of it, but let's say there's an accident of some sort, I would then go to the top of the living kidney donor wait list. Now, I'm not sure if everyone is aware, but it makes a lot of sense. The living kidney lasts twice as long as a deceased donor kidney. The longest lasting one is now 56 years old and still going. But on average, they last about 20 years. And a deceased donor kidney lasts about half that long. Now, they could last far longer than that. There are a lot of different circumstances that go into how long that kidney will last. But anyway, I'm happy that I would go to the top of the living kidney donor list, as well as a family member, because the living kidneys are where it's at. They're the ones that are lasting longer. So they're good to have.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out our buddy Shane Blanchard, who's watching the broadcast tonight, had someone donate through the NKR, and that moved Shane up to the top of the list within a very short period of time. I think it was 6 weeks. Shane had his new kidney. So the voucher program is a real benefit to people, as Elaine is describing it. Did you have any restrictions after you donated?
That's the biggest question I'm asked. It's funny. The only restriction I have is that I cannot take ibuprofen, also known as Advil, right? That is a medication that is really disastrous for our kidneys. 17,000 people die a year from taking too much Advil. In the hospital, they said to me, well, you can take Tylenol. It'll only damage your liver. And I decided to do some deep Googling and found out that tart cherry juice, that sour cherry juice, does the same thing as Advil in that it is a pain reliever and an anti-inflammatory. I buy the concentrated form. I keep it in my refrigerator. 1 tablespoon of that concentrate is equivalent to 1 Advil. So I tell everyone that I can about this discovery. I took it during COVID. When I had COVID, I took it when I had RSV. It works great.
Okay. Donna is asking. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Donna is asking again. In the event that someone donates on your behalf, you go to the top of the list with the NKR voucher system. Suppose there's more than one family member that needs a kidney. Is this only available to one of your family members, or is it available to all? How does that work?
I wish it was available to everyone. So the way it works is that you can select up to 5 people to be on the list of people who would be eligible, but there's really only 1 kidney. So the idea is I put a kidney out there into the system for a stranger, And so I get a kidney back for a family member or a friend, but it's only one. And I've been told that in general, when someone gives to a stranger and they get that voucher and they give it to a family member or a friend who needs it, they can usually get a new kidney within a month. If the person is highly sensitized, meaning they're pretty hard to match, it may take several months, but they have a really good track record of getting a great match because they have the database and they can find donors who are excellent matches. So just like your friends and your friend's experience, it happens well. A lot of people are very skeptical, like I'm getting a coupon. This doesn't sound legitimate, but in fact, it's more than legitimate. It's life-saving.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your experiences as a mentor for the NKDO and Kidney Connect. How did you get started with them? How long have you been doing it? And what are the types of things that you do?
Actually, before I answer your question, I just do want to mention, you did say Kidney Connect. It's a project that my son is working on where people can fill out their biographical details, people who need kidneys. My son will develop an article for them and try to get it published in their local newspaper so that people in their communities know that they need a kidney. That's a project that my son is doing. In terms of being a mentor, I talk to people from around the country on the phone or over Zoom, sometimes through texting and email to really help them out. Obviously, I don't work for the hospital. I'm a volunteer, but I'm helping people by just being a person who's been through it. I can talk about it. I can share my experiences. If needed, I can set them up to talk to other people if they have experiences which match better with their own experiences. But in general, I'm able to, answer their questions, give them support, help them understand, help them navigate things like, oh, my family's really worried about me. They don't want me to do this thing. What can I tell them? Or will you meet with my family and talk about donation? So in different ways, I've helped to plug in to help people out so that they understand the benefits, how it's going to go for them, what to watch out for, what to pack for the hospital, all kinds of different questions I'll navigate and get them the answers that they're looking for. And I've talked to many people who did donate and didn't have that mentoring and wish that they had. In my case, because I went through with AB, I felt like I knew what was next. But I think that if I had just gone into it for the very first time, it would have been lovely to have had a mentor to just sort of show me the way.
Okay. You and I were at the National Kidney Foundation Summit recently for 2023 in March. I think it was around the 3rd or the 4th of March. We took a pretty picture together. Can you tell us about your experiences with the National Kidney Foundation and the Kidney Advocacy Committee and what your experience was like this past March of 23?
It was fun, wasn't it, Jim?
Oh, yeah.
It was really fun. It's just wonderful to be in a giant room with all these like-minded people who really want to solve the kidney shortage. I know Bobby is in the audience, and Bobby was there. We're both Pennsylvanians. I'm originally, as I said, from Pennsylvania. We got a chance to connect with each other. And I'm just very hopeful that Bobby's son gets a kidney as soon as humanly possible. I think that if people are considering donating and giving a voucher, consider getting in touch with Bobby about that. Her son is very much in need. And just hearing those stories, meeting new people, talking to congressional representatives that are New York City based, as well as the 2 senators in my 2 senatorial meetings with both Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand's health committee staffers. I was joined by NKF CEO Kevin Longino in those meetings. It's just a thrill to see democracy in action. We all went up to the Hill. We spoke with our members. And in some cases, I was a constituent. In some cases, these were just neighboring counties. But representing New York City, New York donors, speaking about the bills that the NKF would like to pass, which include the Home Dialysis Act and the Living Donor Protection Act, as well as making sure that we don't cut any funding for kidney research. We're very hopeful that they will increase the funding because it's out of proportion compared to other diseases and the amount of funding that they're allocated for research. So just really getting in there face to face. After COVID, I had done the Zoom meetings the prior year for the Kidney Summit. It was just really exciting. I know you had a great time. I had a great time. It was just all around such a nice feeling.
Okay. And
go ahead, Jim.
Okay.
Sorry.
And just so people know, Bobby's broadcast is posted, the replay, in all 100 of my groups on Facebook. So you can go to any one of my groups on Facebook, and if you want to catch Bobby's broadcast, it's still available. It'll be available for a while. And she talks about her son, Alex, and his need for a kidney. And it's pretty cool. So, you know, check it out. I understand that you are the author of a book. I mean, among everything else, you're a writer, called Please Be the Parent You Wish That You Had. Can you tell us a little bit about this book?
Yeah, the book is entitled Be the Parent You Wish You Had. And I think that, you know, throughout my parenting of my son, I would think, you know, what would I have wanted, you know, and trying to reflect back on when I was a kid. The fact is that, you know, I've been an educator for so many decades that a lot of people asked me parenting advice. My husband would often overhear the conversations, and it was his idea. My husband, Len, said, write a book, keep it short, put some cartoons in it. You know, parents have no time to read, so make sure, you know, it's a quick read. I wrote it. I think it's been helpful to people who are new parents or new grandparents. And it is something that was just very playful and enjoyable. It's available on Amazon. I didn't put my name on it. I wrote it under the pseudonym Mother Zeus, and like Mother Goose. I thought that was funny. And just it's hopefully something very helpful. I've written a bunch of other things. I haven't had time to get them published, but I'm hoping, especially I wrote an advice book for teenagers. I paid 10 teenagers to read it and give me their feedback. I just haven't had a chance. One day I will, hopefully, to get it published, or at least maybe turn it into a video series. But yeah, I really, thank you, Jim. I just love writing, and I just, you know, like to write short stories and things like that. It's just a good creative outlet.
Okay. And for the folks that are watching the broadcast, the link to Amazon, where you can purchase the book, is now scrolling across your screen. Again, it's also in the comments to the original broadcast, which I have pinned to the top of my Facebook page. So you can check it out on Amazon and order the book if you're interested in it. I understand that you attended the NKF Gala. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I actually volunteered and helped out with the auction. And one of my main aims was to get a chance to come face to face with Dr. Robert Montgomery. He is a legend. I saw him. He's easily recognizable. He's very distinctive looking. I beelined over to him. I thanked him for his support of New York's Living Donor Support Act. He wrote a letter to the governor asking her to sign the bill. It was signed, and so I was so thankful to him for that. I told him about the advocacy work I'm doing now with the Honor Our Living Donors Act. He thought it was a great idea, and I thanked him for all of his tremendous work. You know, before Dr. Montgomery, who's at NYU, the hospital where I gave my transplant, before Robert Montgomery, we had open standard surgeries for when we gave our kidneys, and now it's a laparoscopic surgery thanks to his innovation. He's the first one who got a pig kidney working in a human being. So that's exciting, the xenotransplantation angle. He's also a heart recipient of a hepatitis, I think, C heart. So he's a survivor and a grateful transplant recipient. And he just has good energy. He's a really good human being. So I'll be seeing him this Monday. I'm going to NYU with my son, Aby, to commemorate Donate Life Month, and I'm going to get another chance to chat with him. But it was really a thrill.
Okay, and for those of you who kind of sort of recognize the name Dr. Montgomery, he's the guy that you've been reading about in the New York Times and in the Washington Post. And when you see him again, Elaine. Tell him his Uncle Jim from the board of directors with the AAKP would love to interview him, have his office contact me. I've been trying to get him on for years. I
I'll
would love to have
try.
a conversation with
I
him.
will try. Absolutely. I know he's a busy guy, and I just want him to stay busy because he's doing good work.
Well, if necessary, I can record the broadcast when he's available and stick it in at a different time. So,
All right. I'll let him know you're flexible. I'll put in a good word for sure.
all right. Thank you very much. And by the way, my friend Bobby says she wants to work with you sometime. So you might want to check the comments in this broadcast and contact Bobby Reed. She's
Excellent.
Roberta Reed on Facebook, if that
Yeah,
helps.
we've spoken with it, and Bobby has offered to help me advocate to pass this HOLD Act that will hopefully remove a tremendous barrier to living kidney donation to reimbursement. So right now, in order to be reimbursed as a donor, you through the federal government's National Living Donor Assistance Center, also known as NALDAC. In order to do that, both you, the donor, and the recipient need to make less than $51,000 for an individual. So let's imagine I earned $45,000, but my recipient earned $53,000. I would be rejected from any reimbursement at all. So we're trying to take recipient income away from the equation. The original intent of the idea of putting in recipient income is that recipients should pay for the lost wages and the out-of-pocket costs of the donor. But most donors don't want to take money from their recipient. Recipients are often on dialysis, often out of work. It doesn't feel right to take money from the recipient. Also, a lot of people think it's illegal to take money from the recipient because of NOTA and not quite understanding that it is legal, but it is a little strange to be paid for those expenses. So we're really trying to take recipient income away. We're also trying to raise the maximum that you can receive from the federal government from $6,000 to $10,000, because that $6,000 limit was put in place in 2007. And as we know, cost of living has gone up since then. Traveling back and forth to the transplant center, lost wages, dependent care, it all can add up to quite a bit more than $6,000. So we'd like to raise the threshold to 10. And Bobby has offered to help me out with that. So Bobby, big thanks.
Okay, Bobby wants us to know that she's working with her partner in crime, Candy Gagney, and I've had them both on the broadcast at the same time in Pennsylvania, and she is hopeful that those plans will move forward. So,
yeah,
way to go, Bobby.
We're gonna get.
I'm gonna have to start taking notes to keep up with all you guys.
Oh yeah.
What are your immediate on the horizon type future projects that you can talk to us about? What have you got going on that's coming up that we should keep our eyes out for?
So coming off our big success in New York State, Waitlist Zero's founder, Josh Morrison, wrote the bill, the Living Donor Support Act, that makes now New York the only state in the country to fully reimburse all living donors in New York who give to other New Yorkers. This is a historic bill. We're really excited about it. It also requires all primary care physicians and nephrologists to discuss transplantation as an option for those patients who have kidney disease. So it's a great bill. Now I've turned my attention to the federal government, because why should only New Yorkers have that benefit? And so I'm working hard to pass something similar in all 50 states. It's called the Honor Our Living Donors Act. We call it the HOLD Act. That bill is going to try to remove recipient income from the equation. As I described earlier, recipient income should not be considered when donors apply for reimbursement for their out-of-pocket costs and lost wages. We also want to have more money allocated to the program so that we can raise that threshold. And then down the line, I strongly believe that donors should be honored as public servants, and that we can solve the kidney shortage by providing some sort of incentive for donors. I think that is something that's going to take a big educational campaign. I think that we need to really persuade people. But as we stand by and do nothing, so many people are going to die, and they wouldn't die if we didn't have a kidney shortage. And when we have a shortage of anything, we need to take action to solve that shortage. And so disincentivizing it by having donors go into debt to donate is illogical. So let's knock down all barriers to donation so that we can really, really bring that wait list to zero. That's my hope.
Awesome. Just awesome. Elaine, before we conclude the discussion for the evening, is there any statement you would like to make that might be helpful to our audience?
I would say if you are in a position to truly consider living donation, it has changed my life in that it's made me a much happier person because I have this inner joy, this inner happiness that I was able to give life. It is safe. It is rewarding. It's something that I think more of us should step up to do while we're still alive. Yes, be a donor while you after you're gone for sure, but consider this amazing gift to be able to, they say getting a new kidney is like when a car has a dying engine and then it gets a Ferrari engine put inside. It starts working right away and it works beautifully, humming along and giving life to that person. So I've seen people go from sick to transplanted. My son's donor went from gray-skinned and nearly dying to absolutely like any other very vital young man, a 21-year-old ready to go with life. He wants to be a doctor someday. It gives people the opportunity to live a full life. So just consider it. And if you ever want to talk about it with me, get in touch with me. I've got a very easy email address. It's Elaine at waitlist0.org. O-R-G. It's not waitlist. It's wait list, as in the kidney donor wait list. Thank you.
There's a space. Okay.
Yeah, but not on the email.
All right. Well, Elaine, what a great job tonight. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us, educating us as always, raising awareness. Please keep us posted on what you're up to. Don't be afraid to post what you guys are doing in one of Uncle Jim's groups, or just post it right on my Facebook page. And I'll be happy to share it around a little bit. You know me now, so you know I'm a creature of social media. So I'll be happy to make sure that people know. And wow, what a terrific broadcast tonight. Just a great conversation. I'm really very pleased that you took the time to be with us. So I've got to do a little closing up, Elaine, so I'm going to let you go. But thank you so much for taking time. And as always, just a sparkling conversation, my friend. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Jim. And thank you for the opportunity. And it was just really an honor in every way. So have a great night and enjoy the weekend as well.
You too, my friend. All right, folks, that's our show for tonight. Thank you for coming in and watching with us.